Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. New possible leads tonight in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The sheriff's department asking neighbors to check doorbell video. What we know about the day and time in question. And the heartbreaking new post from Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. An old home movie of her mom. What she said. Also developing tonight, Operation Metro Surge, the largest immigration crackdown in U.S. history, now ending in Minnesota. What the Trump administration is saying about why, amid yet another combative day of hearings on Capitol Hill.
It's my hearing, pal.
Measles on the rise, now the largest outbreak in over 25 years. New cases at that private school in Florida and the first in New York City. And the story behind this viral image of a college professor holding a baby is even better than you might think.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel.
Thank you for joining us on a very busy Thursday night. A bad night for your 401k. Stocks tumbled sharply today. The tech-heavy NASDAQ down 2% as investors tried to figure out what's next on artificial intelligence. Will it actually pay off? What will it hurt in the process? No clear answers tonight. But we begin here in Tucson, where moments ago, the FBI doubled the reward for info leading to the location of Nancy Guthrie. And they're on the lookout for new video tonight, asking residents within a 2-mile radius to recheck their cameras for anything unusual. As we get a new FBI description of the suspect tonight, and that's what they're now calling this man, captured on camera outside Nancy's front door the night she disappeared. And Savannah today posting again about her mom, writing, quote, "We will never give up." Jonathan Vigliotti is following this for us on the ground once again in Tucson. Jonathan, good evening again. What do we know now?
And Tony, good evening to you. The FBI just releasing this new information. The suspect described as a male, 5'9" to 5'10" of average build. His backpack, according to the FBI, an Ozark trail hiker. We first reported that yesterday. The sheriff, meanwhile, confirming they have recovered several pieces of evidence, including those black gloves, which are now being analyzed and tested for DNA.
Tonight, for the first time, the FBI calling this man a suspect, describing him as 5'9" to 5'10" of average build. His backpack, an Ozark trail hiker sold by Walmart. This as investigators continue to search for clues in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Sources tell CBS News that a pair of black gloves recovered on Wednesday, less than 2 miles from her home, is being analyzed at an FBI lab for DNA. The New York Post photographed one of the gloves being collected by investigators. There is now an expanded request for nearby residents to recheck their security cameras.
Investigators are concentrating on a 2-mile radius surrounding Nancy Guthrie's home. They're looking for video from January 31st to February 2nd that may show any vehicle or person that appears out of place.
Footage is extremely important because I believe that he has been in that neighborhood before.
Mary Ellen O'Toole is a retired FBI profiler. She says it's likely the suspect did reconnaissance without attracting attention.
That tends to be more what you see in the movies. Well, they got into the neighborhood and it was a scary looking person. That's not the case most of the time. That's what I'm talking about the ability to blend in.
Can you talk to me about the complexity of this case? What investigators and profilers on this case are up against right now?
Well, the complexities are numerous. And the pressure is coming from the fact that they want to save Nancy's life.
And today, Savannah Guthrie posted this emotional tribute along with these words: "Our lovely mom, we will never give up on her. Thank you for your prayers and hope."
And again, the FBI describing this suspect, as they now call him, as a male, 5'9" to 5'10" of average build, his backpack an Ozark trail hiker. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI. Those numbers there on your screen, Tony.
Jonathan, thank you very much. After 10 weeks, 2 dead U.S. citizens and what the White House says was the successful arrest of more than 4,000 people, among them what it lists as murderers, rapists, and violent criminals, the surge is ending in Minnesota. The accounting, however, has only just begun. We have 2 reports for you tonight. Nicole Skanga is in Washington, but we begin with Lilia Luciano in Minneapolis. Lilia, good evening.
Good evening to you, Tony. Look, the concept, the word that I keep hearing is cautious. People here in Minneapolis are cautiously optimistic, cautiously hopeful that the situation will ease. But for many communities, it's going to take a long time for things to go back to the way they were, and others are forever changed.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
Border czar Tom Homan credited improved coordination with state and local leadership for the end of the operation. Since December, over 3,000 federal immigration agents deployed to the Twin Cities. Officials say more than 4,000 people were detained. The crackdown sparked weeks of protests. And agents shot 3 people, killing 2 U.S. citizens. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
They left us with deep damage, generational trauma.
Jason Coleman is the principal at Valley View Elementary.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
At least 6 students in his school district were detained, including his student, 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos. What does the road ahead look like for you? What's next?
How to pick up the pieces. You know, what do we do with our kids? They're coming with trauma, and how do we address that when they come back to school?
CBS News' Nicole Skianga is in Washington, D.C., where top immigration officials faced a grilling from lawmakers.
Today on Capitol Hill, bipartisan frustration over aggressive tactics used by federal agents.
It's clearly evident that the public trust has been lost.
These tactics are causing fear, they're chaos in our communities.
Kentucky Republican Rand Paul zeroed in on the struggle before Alex Preddy was shot by 2 Customs and Border Protection personnel.
He is retreating at every moment. He's trying to get away, and he's being sprayed in the face.
CBP Commissioner Rodney Scott had a different view.
What I'm seeing is a subject that's also not compliant. He's not following any guidance. He's fighting back nonstop.
Scott also vowed to release body cam footage from the incident. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, who also appeared before the panel, was accused by Republican Ron Johnson of encouraging the protesters.
2 people are dead because you encouraged them to put themselves into harm's way.
Are you asking me for comment, Senator? Because everything you said was untrue.
The director of ICE revealed today that the agency has opened 37 investigations into possible excessive use of force nationwide over the past year. But so far, Tony, they've referred just 1 case for further action.
Nicole, thank you very much. Last fall, amid President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to U.S. cities and strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean, Senator Mark Kelly and 5 other Democratic lawmakers told U.S. service members to refuse illegal orders. President Trump then accused them of seditious behavior. Now both a grand jury and a federal judge have weighed in. Let's go to Scott McFarland now in Washington.
Tony, Secretary of Defense Hegseth is attempting to censure Senator Mark Kelly, a Navy captain, and reduce Kelly's retirement pay as punishment for the video Kelly and 5 other Democrats in Congress recorded last year. It reminded service members they can refuse to follow illegal orders. In a ruling today, D.C. Judge Richard Leon accuses Hegseth of trampling Kelly's First Amendment rights and threatening the constitutional liberties of veterans. Hegseth says he'll appeal and adds sedition is sedition, Captain. This comes 2 days after the Justice Department failed to convince a grand jury to charge Kelly and the other 5 Democrats in that video with a crime. But the administration could try again to convince grand jurors as early as tomorrow. Kelly calls the probe an outrageous abuse of power. Tony?
Scott, thank you very much. A U.S. Navy destroyer and a resupply ship somehow collided in the Caribbean amid what is still a large military buildup there. Charlie D'Agata shows us what happened.
Video shot from the deck of the supply ship shows chaos as the 2 Navy vessels are about to collide. One of them sounding the horn as the destroyer and the supply craft get closer. And then the impact. The supply ship manages to steer away as the USS Truxtun destroyer appears to come to a stop. You can't see it in this video, but another ship, the USS Gettysburg, was also right there. The 3 of them were performing a complex side-by-side replenishment maneuver, which involves passing supplies between crafts at close quarters and at speed. The Navy tells us 2 people sustained minor injuries. In an unrelated incident, but also in the Caribbean Sea, the U.S. military says a U.S. Marine has died after falling overboard from the Iwo Jima amphibious ship. The 21-year-old Lance Corporal is the first known fatality in that ongoing mission known as Operation Southern Spear. Tony.
Charlie, thank you very much. We turn now to the ongoing measles outbreak. New York today became the 21st state with at least one confirmed case. And in Florida, cases have jumped to at least 66, most at a Catholic university outside of Naples. Christian Benavides has the latest.
Measles cases at Ave Maria University near Naples, Florida, continue to soar. The outbreak climbed to nearly 60 cases this week. This sophomore at the school, who is unvaccinated, told us he developed symptoms before he tested positive.
I started to get a little rash, and then I started to get a sore throat, a cough.
At a clinic just across the street from campus, Dr. Raul Anand says he's treated 2 measles patients, a student and professor, both of whom were vaccinated.
The professor, she was in contact with a student who had a severe illness, severe manifestation. She would have been more sick if she didn't have been vaccinated.
CBS News has already tracked more than 1,000 confirmed cases across 21 states this year, roughly half of what was recorded in all of 2025. South Carolina continues to have the largest outbreak, with more than 900 cases since September. FDA Commissioner Marty McCary.
Well, I think it's a good reminder that kids should get the measles shot.
The CDC recommends children receive their first dose of the MMR vaccine between 12 to 15 months.
We put out as an administration what we consider core essential vaccines. Measles is one of them.
The Florida Department of Health has been slow to update the number of confirmed cases, making it difficult to track outbreaks across the state. Tony.
Christian, thank you very much. We turn now to weather. Meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking a band of potentially severe storms targeting Texas and other parts of the South. When does the rain move in, Rob?
Hey, Tony, this storm does pretty much go cross country, and the entire southern half of the U.S. is going to be impacted by this. Our pattern changes, bringing some energy across southern California, and that will tap Pacific and Gulf moisture. The southern Rockies get it first. They'll take the snow they needed, then into the plains and Texas on Saturday. Maybe some severe thunderstorms down near the coast. The heaviest rains from Oklahoma through Arkansas, across the Mid-Mississippi River Valley, and in through Georgia and the Carolinas. And look at that, maybe through Philly and D.C. and up through New York. Might see a little touch of snow, but I think we escape the bigger snows there. The big story is going to be the excessive rainfall, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches in this area. They do need the rain. They just don't need it all at one time. So there will be a threat for seeing some flooding there, especially Saturday into Sunday morning. And finally, the snows continue to pile up across the Northeast. There's the radar over a foot in some spots, and that will continue as we head through the weekend as well. But the big story will be the big rain in the South.
Still ahead in the CBS Evening News, we found out today what the likely reason is for this fiery plane crash. Stay with us. Here's a sign of the times for you. Older Americans are increasingly on the lookout for a roommate, not because they want to relive their youth, but because housing costs are now so high, a roommate is the only way to make rent. Here's Elaine Quijano.
Alan Ferber shares a 4th-floor walk-up apartment in New York City with a roommate. At 87, escalating rent costs hurt.
So the rents have gone way up along with that.
It's gone insanely crazy.
Did you ever think that you would have a roommate at this age?
No, not at all.
He splits the $2,000 monthly rent for a 500-square-foot apartment with Daniel Yaffet. Yaffet, who's 69, is an avid biker. He sleeps in this loft.
Could you afford to retire, you think?
Well, I wouldn't be in New York. Dan, where'd you get that cup?
They connected through the New York Foundation for Senior Citizens, a nonprofit that matches seniors looking to share housing costs.
I was by myself for a bit, and I thought I should get a roommate just to help.
More than 1 million Americans aged 65 and over lived with unrelated roommates in 2024, a 16% increase from 2019.
If you didn't have a roommate, could Social Security, you think, cover all your expenses?
Barely. What really helps is working at Costco 3 days a week.
It's not just tenants in major cities. In 2024, older homeowners nationwide listing spare rooms for rent increased by 63% compared to 5 years earlier.
What would you say to someone, Dan, who's considering doing what you did?
I mean, for sure, yeah. I've heard a very good outcome. I'm better off, certainly, with having a roommate.
Elaine Quijano, CBS News, New York.
Up next, a huge sinkhole sends people running for their lives. Stay with us. Tonight, new video of a plane crash in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. It happened last March. 5 people on board a fiery emergency landing near a retirement community there. Remarkably, everyone survived. And now the NTSB has said the probable cause was the pilot's failure to maintain adequate speed after a cabin door popped open. The nearly 30 million people of Shanghai will have to wait a little longer for the next train after a massive sinkhole gobbled up part of the road and collapsed over a planned expansion of that city's metro system. An underground water leak is thought to be the cause. No one was hurt. A wallaby living a spoiled suburban life in Denver was on the hop from the law recently after neighbors called the police on a loose kangaroo. It turned out to be Charlie here, who is indeed a wallaby and a beloved family pet at that. Body cam footage shows him hop back into the house as officers arrive. They didn't seem to mind the false alarm.
I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be like the highlight of my entire year. So.
Charlie there even got a few new followers on his Instagram page. We'll be right back.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is sponsored by Ancestry. Discover, preserve, share.
Finally tonight, only in America, the story behind a viral social media post of a professor and a very, very cute baby. More than 8 million people have viewed this video out of Utah Valley University. Kenedra Flamenco is a 25-year-old senior hoping to have a career as a family therapist and a family of her own, which is why she and her husband had 7-month-old Fatima here, making it hard sometimes for mom and dad, who works, to juggle the lectures and little Fatima, especially when her childcare plans fell through this semester. And that, of course, is where Professor Michael Coombs comes in.
Seeing that she's pushing through what could be a barrier and saying, no, that I'm worth this. I think that's incredibly inspiring.
The professor not only told Flamenco it was fine to bring in the baby, she held Fatima in that video you saw when it was clear that mom needed a break.
She just offered a helping hand, and she's reaching out to just support me and help me. You know, I don't think I could ever repay her for that. And she, you know, she's someone I will always remember.
Flamenco told me that before she had her daughter, she felt pressure to choose between becoming a mother and finishing her education, and that she wanted to prove that it's actually possible to do both. With a little help from Professor Coombs, she's doing it. That's another day in America. I'm Tony DeCopel. For all of us here at CBS News, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Good night for now.